So we do Netivot Shalom ala Torah, Sefer Shmot, Parashat Vayakel. I think we have another Parashat to finish the book. Times fly. And the topic is Adat Bnei Israel. The letters of Adat is Da'at. Vayakel Moshe et kol Adat Bnei Israel v'yomer, right? So Moshe congregates the Bnei Israel and he tells them these words. The word that Hashem commanded, right? Lasodatam Sheshet Yamim, right? 6 days, you do your work, etc., etc. And in the Mefarshim, they explain about the Lashon that the Torah is using, Adat Bnei Israel, like the congregation. That in other places in the Torah, it says, Daber El Bnei Israel. And here it says, Adat, right? Or Tzavel Bnei Israel, or Command Bnei Israel. And why here it says, Adat Bnei Israel, the congregation. And furthermore, it says, V'omar Moshe el kol adat bnei Israel. Moshe was telling to the kol adat bnei Israel, le'emor, right? This is the thing that Hashem commanded. Take a donation, take this, do that, etc. And also at the end of the parasha, they're using the same lashon, v'yatzu kol adat bnei Israel, and they left the adat bnei Israel from Moshe. And we need to explain what's the meaning. And also we found in the Parashat Kedoshim, it says, דבר אל כל עדה בני ישראל, קדושים תהיו. והנה יש לומר, we can say, that עניין הגלות, right, the exile, what's the main thing of the exile is הסתלקות הדעת. When somebody is in trouble, is not in focus, right? When you have so many things on our head, you cannot think straight. And that's the main thing that's happening in exile, galut hadat, like the wisdom, the brain is leaving us. As it says in the Shaya, in the Navi, Gala Ami Mibli Dat. My nation, exile with no lack of wisdom. And also I said just says Vikra Rabba, the Akanita Machasarta. The Achasarta Makanita. It said, the Akanita, if you have wisdom, you're lacking nothing. You're lacking wisdom, you're lacking everything. ועוד אמרו מסכת סוטה, אין אדם עובר עבירה, אלא אם כן נכנסה ברוח שטות, right? That a person is not doing sin unless if there is like some kind of spirit, silly spirit coming into him. And he said, and by the way, I think Rabbi Zupnik, Lee, remember what he explained about the reach shtut from the Motzei Shabbat Shiur? When he says about the ruach shtut, what is the ruach shtut?
Yeah, I don't know that word. Rakshtut?
Shtut, silly, foolish.
Shtus.
Yeah, shtus, yeah.
Okay.
Remember what
Not
he explained?
really.
No? Okay.
Nope.
So I don't remember precisely. I think what he said something about that the person think that what he's doing is not so bad.
Right.
It's not like an external spirit that got into him. He is the shtut. He is the fool ones that think that it's not so bad. So here he said that Sergio said that the person sin only when there is a foolishness get into him. Basically, it's himself. Vainu, what does it mean? The wisdom, the brain, right? Yeah, essentially it. That's our foundation to know Hashem, right? What does it mean to know? The letter of to know, ladat, is again the letter of da'at, acknowledging, wisdoming. That's any word that I just made up. Know Hashem. Ve'eyot shezei ikar hagalut. This is the main reason or the main purpose of the exile. Shegala ami bli da'at, that my nation exiled because they have no wisdom, no brain, right? If they had, they didn't do what they did. And therefore was the Geula, the redemption was by Moshe Rabbeinu. Because Moshe Rabbeinu was the Midat Adat, right? He was using really his brain very efficiently. And he was like the level or the Dat of the entire nation. It says in the Sefarim HaKadoshim, it says in the Holy Book, והוא הכניס דת בכלל ישראל. And Moshe like planted the wisdom, the Dat in Bnei Israel. And by that, he redeemed them from the exile. Zaman Daita, it says in Shmot Rabbah, that Hashem told Moshe right? שהקדוש ברוך אמר למשה, אם אין אתה גואל, אין זולתך גואל. If you're going to be the savior, redeemer, nobody else will be. Because we need you, because you have the midat hadat. That's at a higher level of wisdom, and Israel, the Bnei Israel, achieved that higher level when we received the Torah on Mount Sinai. As it says, כמו דכתוב, right? And we say it every Shabbat, right? אתה הורית לדעת כי השם הוא האלוקים, right? You showed us to know that Hashem is the God. There is nobody else beside him. שראו כולם כי אין עוד מלבדו. And then they achieved to the higher level of the dot. As it says, אני אמרתי, right? I said, like Hashem is saying, right? You are like אלוקים אתם ובני עליון כולכם, right? Like judges and high level people. And all of that was from that strength of ואתה הורית לדעת, that you showed us to see, to acknowledge. And then they achieved the dot in the higher, in the peak. In the Chet HaEgel, in the sin of the golden calf, we lost all the levels in the midat hadat. As it says, right? והמירו את כבודם בתבנית שור אוכל עשב, like they change, or their what's the English word? When you do a business, right? You can pay money, or you can do a barter. You can exchange. You're giving a merchandise, and you get different merchandise, right? An exchange. So it says, and they exchange their honor in a shape of a bull eating grass. It's not a good thing to do, right? It's like, I don't know, you have a few pounds of pure gold, and somebody convince you, and you're changing this pure gold with a hamburger. Not a good business. And then it says, ויצא העגל הזה, and then this calf coming out from the fire. It's a hint to teach us that the Klal Israel, the entire nation, they fall down from the level of the wisdom that they had, the time when they received the Torah, and they became like a calf, like a bull eating grass. And then after the sin of the golden calf, Hashem told Moshe, ואתה הורד עדיך מעליך, והתנצלו בני ישראל לתודיע מהרחוב. Like they lost the crown. But basically, it's not a golden crown. The crown is the wisdom. Hashem told Moshe, you became stupid. The nation became stupid, basically, if we're not going to be politically correct. And what's the fix for that? Is also to fix the dot, which that's the secret of the redemption. And therefore, when Moshe went down from the mountain, from the next day, right, that was Yom Kippurim, Yom Kippur, when Hashem have peace with us about the sin of the golden calf, he asked, or the goal was to bring them back to the level that they lost in the sin, and bring them back to that. So he gave them first the Shabbos, which is influence. It's giving us the wisdom, the dat in the nation, as it says, Ki oti beni ubenechem. It's a mark, it's a sign between you and me. Ladat ki ani Hashem, to know that I am Hashem your God, I'm sanctifying you. And the Shabbat brings the redemption to the world, because the entire redemption is like it's depending on our wisdom, on our dat of a Jew, to know Hashem. And that's the secret of the redemption. Umala haaretz de'at Hashem, right? So it said in the Navi, if I'm not wrong, in Amos, that in the time to come, when the Mashiach will come, will be that the land will be filled da'at Hashem, right? That the people will know. That's the wisdom. That's a spiritual level. And that's the goal of the Shabbat, to know that I am Hashem sanctifying you. And it's hinted in the verse of the Torah in our Parsha, Vayakel Moshe et kol ada bnei Israel, the letter of Da'at, that he bring back the wisdom after the sin of the golden thing. And after that, Natan et Mishkan, he gave them the Mishkan, which also influenced that in the Klal Israel. And therefore it says, Vayomer Moshe el kol ada bnei Israel. So Moshe was talking, right, to the Ada bnei Israel. And this is what we found here many times, that the word Da'at is keep repeating again in the Mishkan, in the Maaseh Mishkan. As it says, right? ראו, קרא השם בשם בצלאל בן אורי בן חור למטה יהודה, right? השם called בצלאל, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, to the tribe of יהודה, ומלא אותו רוח אלוקים, right? And he filled up with the spirit of השם, בחוכמה, בתבונה, ובדעת, with intellectual, with smarts, and with da'at, wisdom. Why? Because the main purpose of the Bet HaMikdash, right, and in the Midbar, it's the Mishkan, to bring the da'at in the Klal Israel. And therefore, the builder of the Mishkan, they achieve a very high level of the Midat HaDa'at. As it says, right, and Hashem filled it up. And also it says, ועשה בצלאל ואוליאב, right? וכל איש חכם לב, all the people that have a smart heart, that Hashem gave them, חוכמה ותבונה, בהמה לדעת לעשות את כל מלאכת עבודת הקודש. And he says, what do you mean בהמה? בהמה is within them. But also the letter בהמה is like behema, which means, and it says here, that even the animals, even the donkeys, the bull that were carrying or pulling the whatever it was there, the carriages, also these animals have a level of wisdom to do that. And because the Mishkan, right, is a very high level and spiritual level, then anyone that building it or dealing with it, including the animal, need to have a certain level of wisdom. And that was the tikkun, because the Mishkan is come to fix the gam of Chet HaEgel, the sin of golden calf, that because of that, we lost the wisdom, the acknowledging of Hashem. And therefore Hashem bring the Mishkan for us to build, and build only by the special builder that have that wisdom. And according to that, we can say, gam in the Katuv, דבר אל כל עדת בני ישראל קדושים תהיו, speak to the congregation, to the Dabn Israel, you should be holy. That this commanded is Kadesh Asvecha Bamutar, בעניינים שלנו. Well, we talk about it so many times, that to be sanctified, to be Kadosh, in the things that are permissible. That's the big one, right? That's the real Nisayon. Because להתקדש בעניינים שאין יראת העונש מונעתו, תלוי זאת רק במידת הדעת. So, Chas v'chalila, to do a sin that we know that there is a punishment, people will not do it easily. They will try to avoid, right? Especially we're keeping Shabbos and kosher and everything, you know. The big things that are forbidden, none of us have any urge or any desire to eat no kosher food or something like that. It's not even crossing our mind. But to take another scoop of cholent, or I don't know, to do something which is permissible but we shouldn't do, there is no fear of punishment because it is permissible, we're allowed to. So what will stop us? Only our brain, only our wisdom, only when we do the pros and cons, only when we do this calculation of should I not, etc. And that have to be on a very, very high level. And this is what he's talking about. That's the high level that we should get to, with the wisdom. Because otherwise, nothing will stop us for the permissible things. And it will not be able to be sanctified ourselves. But he says, when a Jew achieved that level of Ladat et Hashem, he acknowledging that all the other thing are nothing. Now, it doesn't say that we should not enjoy or not to take a cruise somewhere, or I don't know, ride a motorcycle, etc. It doesn't say not to do that. But he said, don't make it the main thing. You need to do, okay, fine, do it. But not, for example, think that it's so important so you will miss davening. Or not to learn Torah. Okay, fine, once in a year with something that you need to do, that's fine. But that's not the main thing. The main thing is the Torah, the main thing is Hashem, but what can we do? He created us with this type of soul and desire. So we can feed the behema within us a little bit and moving on and continue. Because he said that when we're acknowledging who is Hashem and what he did, doing for us, then the rest is nonsense. Fine, we can do it, but it's nonsense. And he said that when we get to that level, then like when somebody is really on that type of level, then by default, all the pleasure of this world will be despised. Doesn't have that desire. And therefore, prior to the mitzvah of Kedoshim, prior to the mitzvah to sanctify yourself, to be holy, he said, speak to the Adat Bnei Israel, that, to the wisdom, to the brain, because that's the beginning. The beginning is, right, bring first the Dat Gedusha, and by that, you will achieve to Kedoshim Tiyu. So, tamshichu al atzmechem, when you have that acknowledgement about Hashem, you attach yourself to Rabbanim, really true Rabbanim, then you are purifying your brain, then you have a real ashkafa. And by default, you will achieve a level of Gedusha. And it says from the Ari Kadosh, in the about Balak and Bilam, that the first two letters of Balak, right, Bet Lamed Kufu Bilam, right, so Bet Lamed, right, and Bet Lamed, we have two. It's Bilbel or Balbal, which is confusion, which means that the shell of Balak and Bilam, the spiritually negative shell, or what their theme was, that they bring confusion to our wisdom. And the source of Gedusha is clarity of the wisdom of our brain. And the source of Tuma, impurity, is confusion. As the Maran HaKadosh Mikrovin, Zechuto HaGelenu, says in the book Yesod HaAvodah, Shekol on the Alma, right, all the money of the world is not equal to 1 hour when a Jew is standing on his place in Yeshuv Adat. What is Yeshuv Adat? When you're in your place, when you're focused, when you can concentrate. So the whole money of the world is not equal to 1 hour. I said, I wish we can do it for 1 second. We're talking about 1 hour. We cannot concentrate or think, at least me, more than 10 seconds in something. It's always like something distracting. Right? And he said, Ubichlal, and including in all the money of the world, also all the spiritual things, that they're not equal even to 1 hour of sitting on your place and issue with that. And we are able to achieve that on Shabbos Kodesh, because then that will be actually, appropriate level of Yeshuv Adat. And therefore it says, Hashem blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, right? And it says in the beginning, the Bereshit Chokhmah, the Perush Vayikadesh Oto, that he sanctified it, which is the Shabbat Kodesh, it's the source of Kedusha, to fulfill the mitzvah of Kedoshim Tiyu. But first, we need to have the wisdom. What's the reason? Because the Shabbat is the source of the Da'at. So the wisdom is the source, the Shabbat is the source of the wisdom, and the wisdom is the source of achieving Kedusha. And that's why in the Brikot 18, after we have the Brikat Avot, right, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Yaakov, right, the first bracha after Kedoshim, right, after the Kedusha, Mechei HaMetim, the first one during the day, right, let's say that this is the first bracha in Motzei Shabbos, we say every Ma'ariv, we say, but Motzei Shabbos, we're adding Ata Chonantanu, right, and we said, you Chonantanu, you gave us the wisdom, the ability to distinguish between the 6th day, the 7th day, the light, the darkness, etc., right, the Israel and the Amim. Why? Because if you don't have that wisdom, how can you continue in Daven and understand about the other things? So that's the main thing that we need to have. And that's why Moshe is calling Bnei Israel Adat. And that's why it's keep repeating, specifically in this Parashiot, when it's talking about the Mishkan, because the Mishkan is supposed to bring us to a certain level of wisdom and save us from the confusion, which is the rest of the nonsense. Shkoyach, thank you for listening. And hopefully we're going to learn on Thursday as well.